Jeremy L. writes, buy or sell a Married with Children type film using topics the show did. Is the world too liberal today for it?
I don't know. A movie version?
Tough.
See, for me, like, the movie version doesn't work unless you have all the original actors, like Ed O'Neill, Katie Sagal, Christina Applegate. Like,
Right.
so I just don't know. Like, and you bring them into that situation, they're all older now.
Yeah.
And so I don't see it happening.
I'd say do a really creepy all CG one with them as zombies and call it Married with Dead Children.
Good Lord. I do think that you could do it. I mean, as far as the question goes, is it too politically correct? Maybe on certain television stations, it could be on network, maybe, but certainly not on cable. You can get away with you would catch flack for some of the stuff they talk about, but that was the show caught flack back then. As far as a movie, they could do it if it was like an hour and a half kind of funny comedy but they'd all have to come back. I would be very skeptical right away if they're doing a Married with Children movie, but it's all new actors. I'd be like, no, thank you.
It would have to be
capture
called
that.
Still Married with Children.
Or the kids
cast.
or Bud and Kelly get married, and then it's like, okay, it's their kids, and that's kind of what happens. Like it's vacation again.
Yeah.
But to me, if they did a movie years later, would I be interested in it? Yeah, I would be. It's the first time someone even talked about it. It would be interesting. Rated R. Has to be rated R.
Yeah, it had to be rated R. I'd be interested if it's all the same cast and both Christina Applegate, Kelly and Bud.
Yeah.
They have to still live. I want them not to be
Living at
married.
the house.
I want them to
Yeah,
still live
at
at
the house.
home. Yeah.
That would be fantastic.
Him. It's one of my
Yeah,
favorite
that's
shows.
one of the shows that I liked it when I was a kid and I watched it just because it was one of those things I wasn't supposed to be watching, so I was like, oh yeah. I've seen it lately and it still holds up.
holds
It
up,
does.
man.
I saw it recently too, and it's still funny.
It's a funny because Ed O'Neill was.
Ow.
Peg, get my shoe. He was so brilliant in that show.
Yeah.
Yeah, underrated. Everyone, because they just thought of it as this really kind of dirty, kind of
this
scummy
trashy show.
But it was hilarious.
So good.
All right, what's next?
Daryl Kingsley writes, what movies made you cry?
Recently, Fruitvale Station.
Oh, that's what he said.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I usually get misty-eyed. I don't cry during movies, but I get
he's
the
too
little.
manly.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, though, man. Since having a kid, I get more emotional with certain scenes, especially with a father-daughter type stuff. But it's like the overall that one. There was a movie. It was a documentary called Young at Heart that got me when Ellis and I first started reviewing movies. And if you haven't seen Young at Heart,
I just remember
bring a
one.
box.
Up. That
I got you in the beginning.
I was like, I hate Pixar. You made me tear up. In the first 2 minutes, it was so crushing. No spoilers, but if you haven't seen Up, you'll cry in the first 5 minutes.
Easily.
So
A random one for me, because it's not my typical genre.
Flash
but-
Gordon.
No, is Cold Mountain with Nicole Kidman and Jude Law. There's something about it. I mean, it's kind of like a drama with some romance in it, but for some reason, there's spoilers if you haven't seen it. When they kind of reconnect at the end, for some reason, I get a little teary-eyed.
12 Years a Slave.
Yeah.
I got
yeah.
teary-eyed because of the pure horror of living in that kind of a situation. I remember it was as a human being, I was like, how could we have done this to each other? It drove me nuts watching that movie. So
Actually, what are some movies that you get?
Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
Charlie Brown.
Gem and the Holograms.
Rubs me the wrong way. Every Pixar movie, probably, Schnepp, when you said that, completely reminded me of it. Especially Monsters, Inc., when they had to leave Boo back in the room. That really gets me every time. And weirdly enough, I remember the first movie that made me cry was The Notebook because of the ending, and I won't give it away. But yeah, those get me every single time.
All right, what's next?
Next question comes from Nazri Maldonado, and they write, what's the latest news of Halloween 3?
I personally have not heard anything.
No
How
idea.
about you guys?
you guys could check it out. It's called Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. It was made in 1983. Yeah, or you're talking about a new Halloween.
one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not going to happen.
All right, what's next?
Matthew Nagra writes, are you guys excited with Jim Carrey stepping into a dramatic role again with True Crimes, which begins production soon?
Yes, I am, because I'm one of those people who I thought his performance in Eternal Sunshine of Spotless Mind was overlooked.
Yeah.
I thought he was great. He was great in Truman Show as well. Right. That was a little more half comedic, half dramatic. But in Eternal Sunshine, I think he deserved an Oscar nomination.
In Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, which is one of my favorite movies of all time, he was the most real in any movie he's ever been in to this day. It was like, that's who I feel like. If you watch like the behind the scenes of how he was with Kate Winslet, just acting in like he blew her away. Like from how real it was, how honest it was. I feel like that's how Jim Carrey is in general. So yes, I'm very excited to see him in a dramatic role again. I hope it's more like we're talking about here with Eternal. He tried it again with The Majestic, and it didn't work. And he's done other things. There was that horror movie that he did that bombed.
27 or 20.
Yeah, whatever that was. So I'd like to see. I really am a big fan of his dramatic acting. The same way I'm a big fan of Adam Sandler's dramatic acting. He gets overlooked as well too. And he's at a place where he needs to go down that route. Jim Carrey should do it again because he's really, really good at it. And his last couple comedies that he's done, the Burt Wonderstone and what else, been okay.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, speaking of crying, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind really knocked me, you know, in the cry tear area, because I had just gotten out of a long-term relationship, and then I saw that movie, and it was like, getting beat up.
Same thing happened to me. I don't think I cried, but I just so devastated.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you're tearing up because it's like making you go through all of these memories.
Yeah.
That movie's an incredible film. And speaking, just tangenting for a second, Charlie Kaufman's Animalosa, however you say it, it's an all-animated feature film.
Oh, yeah,
He's coming
yeah.
back, so there's a trailer out. I don't know if Jim Carrey's going to be in it, but I had to give it a little pop-off there. I think Jim Carrey is an incredibly talented actor. Even Kick-Ass 2, he was a highlight in Kick-Ass 2. I think anything that he does, he puts his all into, whether it's, you know, I think he was the standout of a pretty mediocre film, the Burt Wonderstone thing. He was the best part of it. So seeing him try something new in a serious role, I'm all for it.
All right. What's next?
Mark Rudy writes, if Deadpool doesn't do big numbers, will it spell the end for Ryan Reynolds as a superhero at least?
I don't think so. I think this is a risk. And also remember, this movie is not, they're not spending a lot of money on the production. Actually, they're probably going to spend more money on the marketing of this movie than the actual production of it. So I don't think so.
Well, you know, I was going to say the marketing of it, they're being really smart about it. YouTube's free. They just did this trick or treat thing. It's got like 3 million views already. Free.
I do think it'll be the end of him as a superhero, but I think it'll be his choice. I think that he's playing the character that he really wants to play. He played Green Lantern, didn't go so well. If it bombs, and I don't think it will, I think it's going to be really, I think you're going to see Deadpool 2, 3. I think this movie's going to do really well. But if it doesn't do well, I think that at least for a while, he's going to step away. And I also think that, you know, whether it be the MCU or DC, well, they're not really accept him as a superhero. That's how they look at these things. If it doesn't work, they're probably going, we don't really, there's so many other actors right now that want to step in. But I think it's nothing to even worry about because I really do think this is the perfect role. He was the only guy when they were talking about ever doing a Deadpool movie. It's got to be Ryan Reynolds. Then they did a stupid thing. I love that crack on that they did in that Halloween video, by the way, about should have kept his mouth shown. Some shot that was really great.
Yeah, that was good.
But yeah, I think we're in good shape.
Yeah, I don't think he can ever go back to the DC universe, even though that Green Lantern he did wasn't part of this new universe. I think he's just too associated with that. He can't play another character. He could hop into the Marvel universe, I think.
It's not that he couldn't. I just think that if let's say again, if it bombs, I just think that he's going to want to stay away. I would assume he'd want to stay away from doing superhero movies again, and I also think that the studios would probably want to keep him away from it. But I think it really is a moot point because I think that we're not going to have to worry about it.
There's so many. I mean, he's already played 3 superhero characters. He's also Hannibal King in Blade. So that was a Marvel character. Now he's another Marvel character. Look at Chris Evans. He was the Human Torch. He was also in another superhero type film called Push, where he had these like superpowers.
I actually like that movie.
Yeah, I thought it was great. It's an underrated film too. And now he's Captain America. So you know, a lot of these actors get multiple chances if you know. But yeah, if Deadpool doesn't work out, I would say he's probably going to take a break too. So
okay, all right. What's next?
Matthew Nagra writes, I know John doesn't like prequels, so I thought I'd ask, what is your favorite prequel of all time?
Oh, that's tough. I'm trying to think.
I'll say it. Temple of Doom.
bam.
I keep forgetting that's a prequel.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can you think of any? Phantom Menace.
No. Boy, prequels. There's not really that many prequels, are there?
You have to. Yeah. I mean, timeline-wise, to look at them.
The flashback scenes for Godfather 2 and Godfather 2 for Godfather 1.
Kind of counts.
Yeah, it's tough. Because even like The Hobbit, I like The Hobbit, but it wasn't. It pales in comparison to Lord of the Rings.
Here's some, if you guys. This is a list off of Wikipedia as far as films that are prequels. Oz, The Great and Powerful. I don't know, Another Part of the Forest. Tinkerbell, Davy Crockett. Psycho 4, The Beginning. No thanks. Godfather Part 2. There's a big. There's some Indiana Jones, The Thing. Dumb and Dumberer. There you go. Let's never talk about that one ever again. Yeah, there are actually quite a few. I mean, look at they say X-Men Days of Future Past is kind of a prequel-ish. If you look at
First Class is a prequel.
First Class is a prequel.
Bam.
Yeah.
There you go.
I finally got one. I figured it.
All right, what's next?
Naughty Nate writes.
Whoa! Look at the way you said that.
Naughty
Take
Nate.
it easy.
Can cinematography change the way we perceive an actor's performance?
Cinematography. I mean, it can make an actor look.
What kind of performance is Naughty Nate talking about, by the way? What performance is Naughty Nate inferring?
Oh, were you asking me?
No, I'm just in general.
Well, you gave him a nice introduction.
Well, he sent his question like a few times. I've seen his question a few times, so I was excited for him to actually ask the question.
I mean, the way you shoot someone definitely affects the way they're viewed. You know, you shoot them at certain angles, they make them look more powerful. You shoot them maybe a low angle, they look more diminutive. I actually think editing is actually more important in terms of performance, making an actor look good, because you can take a fantastic actor and pick out his worst takes in a movie and put them in a movie, and you'd be like, man, that guy is terrible.
Right.
Or from the same movie, take his best performance, and you're like, man, that guy's an Oscar winner. So I think editing affects it more than cinematography.
I think also when you're shooting an actor, you give them the space to play, and I think that also affects their performance. If you're like, we got to hurry up and we got to do this, and you got 2 takes to do it, you're rushing and forcing something. Whereas I'm not talking about getting all Kubrick and doing 84 takes or something like that, but if you could do like 8 or 9 takes and let them try different ways of performing or doing reading the lines and reacting and acting back and forth with each other. I think that's where you get real, true, good performances. I mean, it all depends on who the director is.
Chris?
I think the director is absolutely crucial as far as what he's able to get out of the actors. But I agree with you as far as the editing goes, how important the editing is. You can get that great performance out of an actor too, and then however that person is cut, you could if it's cut the wrong way, he could look terrible, or if it's cut in the right way, he or she could look brilliant. But I think it's a mixture of all of it. So I would say an actor's director is really important to someone who really wants to get that knows the character and isn't just using the actors as like a set piece, and knows that he needs the actor or actress to tell the story. Crucial as far as and the writing, but I would say editing, man. I think you're right.
All right, let's take 2 more.
All right, Chris Ordaz writes, I was wondering, what is your favorite movie sound effect? That's exactly what I was thinking.
My favorite is the scream.
The Wilhelm scream.
That's not even a good one. But let me give you another clean one. Got room tone.
It's good.
That's good.
It's good for a comedian. It kind of takes me out of movies sometimes if it's like in a drama or something like that, or something I'm supposed to be taking seriously. But in a comedy or something that's supposed to be a little funny, I like it. Probably the lightsaber sound, maybe.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh, you know what? The one that I hate the most that I hear in every single movie, every car commercial, it's that car screech. It's a double screech that doesn't even sound real, and somebody filmed it like in 1950, and it went to a sound bank, and every single person has that sound effects portfolio. Is like, yo, dude, get the car squeal squeak. It's just so bad sounding, but once you hear a car like stop really quick and you hear this double, I keep doing it, but when you hear it, you'll never be able to unhear it, and you'll hear it all the time in everything.
I want to see if I can get it. Because it's too late. I was trying to bring up the Wilhelm scream, but the other thing that in surround sound, like anytime there's a fighter, planes, like because even say we were talking about Pearl Harbor before. I remember getting surround sound in my place, and just getting the DVD for Pearl Harbor because the sound was so incredible. Like all this, it's like a really good plane battle. It sounds so incredible. It's one of my favorites.
Well, Ben Bird is one of the greatest sound designers ever. I mean, every sound effect that he designed for Indiana Jones, for all the Star Wars, the laser sound effects, just everything, you know, the TIE fighters, all those sounds are so much fun.
You know what's overdone is in the trailer. Like in every trailer.
The District 9 noise.
You hear every.
I think I got it.
Yes, that's it. That's the Wilhelm. Do it again.
All right, give me a second. All right, here we go. Ready?
Yes. You guys want to hear the most annoying sound ever? How's that?
That's
that
pretty
it?
good, actually.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, one more.
All right. Jacob Ross writes, would you guys have any interest in seeing a That 70s Show movie reboot with a new cast?
No.
I never really watched the show, to be honest.
80s show didn't go too well.
Right.
They did an
Yeah.
80s show, right? It was like, no thanks.
Yeah, I don't see it happening.
Could cast Ellis, though, as a Topher Grace role.
Hey guys, if you like this clip, click here to watch the entire episode. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel because it'll help you stay up to date with all the stuff we've got going on here at Collider.